All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is Colts Loyalist. And what? I've been right 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row on calls. I said we were going to lose to the Rams in a close one. We lost to the Rams in a close one. I said we were going to lose to Tennessee. We lost Tennessee. I said we're going to beat Miami. When everybody else was like, oh no, it's time to tank, we beat Miami and beat them pretty bad. I mean, that score, this 27-17, they legitimately should have scored that last drive had they not kneeled it, and worked out the clock. It could have been 34-17, and then not to mention some really big play heroics by Brissett and Devontae Parker in the fourth quarter made this in a somewhat close game because, I mean, we were smoking them early on. What was your thoughts on the game, Loyalist?
Mo Alley Cox in the red zone, baby. I seen that first one and I was like, I told you, and then, the second touchdown, just more of the same, man. I love that. It's nice to get into that red zone and actually come away with not just points, but with 7 points. That was huge this week.
Jonathan Taylor, first game this year, over 100 yards. I was starting to be afraid that he was going to get knocked underneath the 100 yards because they were feeding him and he was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage because, the Dolphins knew we were going to try to run the clock out. But then they pulled him and put Marlon in. And Marlon, other than a couple times that he got hit in the backfield because of really, really bad blocking and having guys just basically unblocked back there grabbing him, he made some plays today, especially, when it counted, when he needed to turn that first down over, that 9-yard run with just a couple minutes left in the game to get the first down, big time play. Very happy that Marlon got some play time, just so that he's got some film out there so that other teams can see what he's got, what he's available to do. That first carry he had where he juked that dude and went sideways, that was freaking beautiful,
I'll be honest, I was so worried about this game because I felt like, because of all the interest that, we've heard about in Mac over the last day and a half or so, I was really worried that they weren't going to let him in there, and especially when you see JT on the injury report all week with the knee and stuff, and you've seen that later in the game that he was, you could just see that he was struggling and dealing and fighting through it. Stuff. So it was nice to have somebody alongside Naheem, to come in and give him a spell and stuff.
Yeah. Xavier Rhodes did a pretty decent job the first 3 quarters of the game against Devontae Parker, and then 2 pass interferences, and that's all it took. Yeah. And then it looked bad in the fourth quarter. Devontae really came alive, right? That touchdown in the back of the end zone was tight. I was sitting there saying, if it would have been called incomplete, that probably would have been held up as well because of how close his butt cheeks were on the line. You know what I mean? So,
and I understand that line of thinking, but I'm telling you right now, as a Colts fan, we are always, or not always, but we are like 88% on the wrong side of those things. I hate when I see the plays being reviewed or challenged. I feel like we already got one foot in the wrong direction.
See, you can't say always because that Jalen Phillips face mask.
Yes, sir.
That was not a face mask.
No, it was not.
And it kept our drive alive. We scored a touchdown out of it. And, I mean, we were spacing 3rd and long, and it was a sack, right? I mean, come on now. So, yes, we did get one bad penalty against us or for us in our favor, but that didn't affect the turnover of the game. What's amazing is that the Colts, they had like 100 yards in penalties in this game. Almost 100. And still, we were able to move the football. Carson Wentz looks so much better this game than he did against the Titans.
You've seen him. You see him do those little spin outs to the left side, and that was the one that, because to the right, it's not nearly as much pressure on that right ankle. But when he spun out to the left, I seen that, and I was just like, I didn't think I'd see that from him for a few more weeks. So yeah, I was very pleased to see, his mobility, and we needed it. And I mean, oh man, the way he threw off that sack and then just sat there and anchored in, and wasn't that Mo Alley that he caught on that play? Oh yeah, this is what I've been wanting to see, all year, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't the most beautiful thing. And the thing was we didn't do this. I mean, Miami gave us a lot of, you talk about our penalties and stuff. Miami helped us out quite a bit there. That jumping off sides on the punt, and things like that just really aided it. But the nice thing was the Colts sat there and they didn't just sit there and look a gift horse in the mouth and ignore it. They actually took advantage of it, run the ball down the field, and got some points. I super hyped.
Yep. FaZe, thanks for being in here. Good luck watching your Ravens game. Colt Strong, nice to see you in here. Zombie Flanders says, sorry, but that face mask call was BS. Dude, I agree. We all agree. It wasn't going to change the game or the outcome of the game, but, I mean, because you still was down 3 scores at that point, but still, I understand what you're saying. And, yes, that was one bad call in the whole game. Generally the Colts don't get those kind of calls in their favor. But let's face it. The Colts defense, Miami offense, the offense for Miami did not look good through 3 quarters. I mean, it was terrible. Through 3 quarters, Jonathan Taylor had more yards than the entire Miami offense. Okay? And then the special teams. All kind of mistakes on the Miami special teams, right? The Colts had that one muff punt. Miami decided to return the favor. The jump off sides, as you was talking about earlier. The Miami Dolphins did not get a legitimate turnover this game. The muff punt does not count as a turnover, as a forced fumble interception. So that ended the Miami 25-game streak.
Oh, I forgot all about that. That's right.
Yeah. But he says he's worried about Kelly's condition. I am too. Looked like he was walking around okay, though, at the end. So hopefully it's not nothing serious. We all know that he is dealing with an elbow injury, but, it is what it is. I
seen him walking and everything, and I was like, because at first I was panicked. Then I seen him walking and everything, and I was all right. But then he had to go and just do the worst thing that any Colts fan can see. He went past the knee and he went to the ankle.
Yeah.
And as soon as I seen that, I was like, oh my God, PTSD kicking in.
Oh, right.
Really hard.
Yeah. Ain't no lie, man. I mean, we just watched the guy, the all-pro right beside him, go to IR yesterday over the ankle situation. So, and then, of course, our quarterback, rolling around out there, rolling around on his ankles. Yeah. But he looked much better. What's up, John Davis? Appreciate you being in here. I got my camera right in front of the freaking chat, which is stupid. That was a rookie mistake on my part. Guys, I just want to let you know, straight up, I have a sponsor right now. And it's pretty cool. I just want you guys to know this. It's called the Backroom Collection. They do a lot of cool things. They've got a lot of really cool artwork that they sell, and they'll have autograph pieces. Now, they're not cheap, but really nice stuff. You should go check them out, man. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted, and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts sign pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. Yeah, I might change that up later, but that was just a quick little thing that I put together. But you should go check them out, man. I was looking at it, and they got some really nice stuff. They'll have more stuff in November, apparently. And it's not just football. You know, they cover all sorts of sports and stuff. So it's not just the Colts. This is all teams, you know, multiple sports. So, you know, if you're a Ravens fan in here or a Pittsburgh fan and you want to go check stuff out, go do that. But just make sure you use my discount code because I get a little something on the back end on any sale. So when you use that discount code, so appreciate it. Mo, yeah, man. Mo, couple good catches, got a couple touchdowns in this game. That was great. Jack Doyle showing up late in the game with a huge, big time third down reception to keep the sticks going and keeping the clock on the Colts side. That was monstrous, right?
Yeah. And our defense, man, Kamoko Toure getting in there on a couple sacks. I mean, you know, I don't know what you want to call what Tyquan Lewis did. I remember Darius Leonard going, his mama seen you do that to him. And I just sitting there thinking that same thing because Tyquan looked like they just like, he's over there. And I was
right.
like, I mean, just seeing that pass pressure getting on Jacoby this week, you know, I'm sorry it was you, Jacoby, but hey, I'm also glad it was you because you were the next guy up.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, I was so pleased to see, you know, because I didn't see as much from DeForest as I was expecting, you know, with the replacement center and stuff. I really thought we would see a little bit more from him than what we did as far as in the pressures and sacks.
But we did see Grover Stewart, who's the guy sitting right beside him. So that's a hell. I mean, he's the one that ended up forcing that fumble that was recovered by Darius Leonard. Speaking of Darius Leonard, he dropped an interception right over the freaking middle. I think it was in the first quarter, right? Early on. Still great play. Knocked the pass down, but he had both hands on that football. He was as he was reaching out for it. So get your hands on that ball and catch that baby.
Darius I'm so happy when he gets the recoveries, but I'm really like, because he's so loose with that thing. Like when he scooped up that fumble from Jacoby, that thing was still just sort of bouncing and swinging around. But something I did not like seeing was at the very tail end of that play, how much that ankle was bothering Darius and how labored he looked at the very end of that. And I was just like, man, did he aggravate that, or is this? I mean, because I haven't noticed that much of a limp in his gait or anything until that. So I was a little hesitant, but you know, he saw him the rest of the game out there, and I didn't see nearly as much as I did towards the tail end of that play. So maybe they went in and taped it up, and I don't know.
We had a lot of players that went into this game and came out of this game with some injuries. I'm going to tell you right now, I think Nyheim Hines has an injury, probably his ribs or something of that nature, because he ran out holding those ribs, holding up close when he got lit up in the backfield. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor. Hopefully they just added Marlon Mack because we were just trying to run the game out, you know, and it wasn't a Jonathan Taylor dealing with something. That's a worrisome situation. We already talked about Ryan Kelly, you know.
Wasn't JT already dealing with the knee though before, you know, all this last week?
Yeah, but I mean it wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, he was questionable. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, I really. This was a game, started off down 3 points, and then the Colts just took it over. Yeah. And it was all Colts the rest of the game, except the fourth quarter when Miami tried to make their comeback. And to be fair, both touchdowns came in garbage time. The Colts had this game already locked away. They were in prevent defense. They gave up 2 touchdowns. I mean, they got into the red zone. They got inside the 10-yard line on 2 plays. 2 big passes, one to Parker and one to Gesicki, right?
Yeah, I felt totally comfortable through this whole game until those 2 plays. And then I was
right.
Oh, come on, guys.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this was more of a comfortable win than I was expecting, because I really did feel like that this was possibly even going to come down to which kicker missed missed a field goal and stuff. But really, it wasn't, like you said, after about 7 minutes into the first quarter, the Colts started getting their rhythm. You could just feel the energy and the flow and everything. And I was like, oh yeah, this is, you know, and then when Mo Alley just reached up and grabbed that first one, I was just like, oh, that felt good.
Coachella Coastal says it was an ugly game. I don't think it was ugly for the offense. At least the Colts offense. I think the Colts offense did pretty good against a really good Miami defense, right? Secondary and stuff. They scored the most points that they've scored all year long. I get that Miami's offense was questionable with the fact that, Brissett's out there and they had an offensive line issues. Colts had offensive line issues too. Carson Wentz looked good. Offensively, I think the Colts looked good. It's still questionable about the defense. How much was Miami getting 17, being held to that? Was it Miami's fault? And how much of it was the Colts defense fault? That's the thing, right? So
probably like most things, it was probably a little bit of both. Like, like as we were talking earlier, because Jacoby helped us out, and then, the defense helped us out as well.
Yeah. What's up, Lone Revolver? Appreciate you being in here as well. Guys, I'm up to 15 viewers. Well, nope, 14. It just dropped. Guys, please smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live. And please check out some of the links in the description. All right. There's the what I already talked about with the Backroom Collection. Don't forget I have a Patreon, which is only $5 a month. Very simple. You would have been able to have watched with Loyalist and a few other of the Patreons my live game reaction today. And then plus about every Thursday, generally I do a Patreon only stream where Patreons get to jump in and say stuff and say hi. But also don't forget, check us out on Newsbreak, right? Because there's a link in the description. Free and simple. All you got to do is download the app, give us a follow. It's free, easy for you, and it puts money in our pocket, so we'd really appreciate it. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. Michael H. said that the Colts ran the ball well but looked lost in pass protection, and Wentz missed a handful of passes to open receivers. Yes, he did. But did you notice that those misses were all long in a place where the defense had no shot at getting the ball? He was being safe with his passes, making sure there was no turnovers, that only his guy might have a shot. Mo Alley Cox dropping that touchdown early on, didn't give up, threw it again really high. Only Mo Alley could get it, ended up getting 2 more touchdowns. Mo could have had 3 touchdowns this game. I mean, that's nuts. But Carson Wentz was being safe with the football, and that's why he does throw it a little long at times. Paris Campbell, that was a close one. I thought Paris probably should have caught the ball, but it would have been a tough one because he did have a defensive. He had maybe the best defensive back in the NFL draped over his back. And it was just off. So, and he had hands in his face. So it was really good. Good defensive play right there by Howard. But man, I thought the offense overall didn't look bad. Actually played well in the passing game, considering the Dolphins maybe have the best secondary in the NFL.
Yeah, and for me, I don't know what an ugly win is anymore because, I mean, first off, you sit there and you look at what the Colts are dealing with. I mean, you're sitting there talking about our pass protection being a little confused. Well, I would imagine so. Most of these guys haven't even seen many practice snaps together. Okay. I mean, Davenport, he's out there playing alongside Penner, and he's just like, I don't even know if they've met each other other than, a couple times in the practice room, Then you sit there and you look at a secondary that was Miami's receivers are good. Parker's a beast, like I said, these guys, this team is a very well coached, very good team. And to sit there and think about all that we had to overcome this week, I mean, the fact that the game was never in question and the fact that the team hopefully is still going to be next week is going to be that much closer to being healthy. Plus, we get the extra day of rest, with Monday Night Football. So hopefully all these things coming in, hopefully we'll be able to give Baltimore a little bit of their own medicine next week.
Coachella Coastal just jumped in with a little announcement. I had to go check it just to make sure her eyes was not upset or mistaken. I'm assuming it's a female. If it's not a female, I apologize. I just see Coachella. If you're a dude, I'm sorry. But hey, the Jets just beat the Titans in overtime. Are you kidding me?
That's what that little noise was in your ad when you started talking about it. I was like, oh, I just seen that. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
It's a good day to be a Colts fan.
So, I mean, we had a couple 0-3 teams not become 0-3 anymore this week, right?
Yep.
Now they're 1-3. I've been right the last 3 weeks in who was going to win in my predictions, and that's kind of cool. We got the Ravens next week, and there's not going to be a Quentin Nelson, and I'm afraid of what our offensive line is going to look like against that D. But we'll see how that turns out. But for right now, for this game, for this week, I'm excited. I'm happy that the Colts finally won. I know there's probably some people out there who call themselves Colts fans that are ticked off that we won, thinking that we should have lost because the season was lost and over and had no chance and blah, 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 and should have tanked and sat Wentz and all this. No, man, go out there and win. Go out there and win. And I'm glad. And they went out there and won convincing. This is a game the Colts actually won convincingly, right? I mean, this was more of a convincing win for the Colts this week than it was a convincing loss for the Colts last week.
Yeah, I was sitting there, I was processing that. And you're right, because I mean, the way we beat this team on our terms. You know what I mean? We ran the ball like we've been screaming for. We got in the red zone. We actually scored touchdowns. I mean, I guess, like I said, I know everybody's opinion is going to be based on different factors and stuff, but for me, if you're putting points on the board, I mean, this team is not built to be that flashy, 5 receivers and a dust to win. We're not designed that way. We're much more the more physical, beat you in the middle, hit you with some rib, and then go up top. And I felt like we had all that. And then, like I said, whenever when we really needed to play, whether it was Jack Doyle or Mo Cox or Carson Wentz spinning out or, Kamoka Ture and Tyquan Lewis getting their sack. I mean, these guys, I love the game. Like I said, I felt next to no nerves. Even after they went and scored their first field goal, I was just like, hey, they got a field goal. They can kick field goals all day long.
Yep. Thanks, McChicken, for the congratulations. What's up, Dabney? Appreciate you being in here as well. Yeah, we know about the Kelly injury. No word on it yet, obviously. He was walking around. Looked like he was walking around fine on the sideline, though, but hopefully. What's up, Anthony Hurt? Appreciate you being in here as well. Man, we need to get healthy. I really do feel that. I feel like if the Colts can stay healthy, we could really do some damage. And I felt that way back week 2 when we played the Rams. Because I honestly, right. I feel like the Rams are the best team in the NFL, and we should have beat them. Last week was a situation where, it was just a bad game, and Derrick Henry's a monster, right? But think about this, okay? Miami's secondary, one of the best in the NFL, and Carson Wentz had multiple deep throw passes completed. Multiple in this game. All over the place, right? He had passes to Paris Campbell. He had passes to Mo Cox. He had passes to Zach Pascal, Jack Doyle. He got a little bit in on everybody. Michael Pittman Jr. This was a game where I feel like if he could do that against one of the best secondaries in the NFL, and he's hurt, then I think he could still be a viable starter. I get there's people's like, we want to preserve our first round pick, but I'll gladly give up that first round pick if Carson Wentz turns out to be as good as, as we thought he could be. And I get it that, these past, 3 weeks previous are not a good sign, but we've been dealing with injuries. That's flat fact. We were dealing with injuries in this game. I mean, our offensive line at times looked really bad.
Yeah, and the thing is I would much rather make that pick be as low. You know what I mean? Let's make that a 28th in the first round, 29th in the first round type pick. You know what I mean? I'd much rather that than sit there and, like you said, save it and then, okay, because you know what? Think about it. If you're losing a 28 or a 29, or if you're giving up a second round that's a 33, 34 because you tanked, who cares? So I'd much rather just sit there and get the good playoff out of it and let that drop just get lower as far as because how well you perform.
Exactly.
But I also wanted to give a shout out to Ashton Doolin, because you remember we were always talking about, why do you keep him as a receiver? Why not keep, Des Patman and all that? Because Ashton Doolin's only a special teams guy. Well, let me tell you what, Mr. Doolin was there all day today on special teams. I believe he's the one that recovered the fumble, wasn't he? On the, and then also the guy that when he let it bounce and then he sat there and had to backtrack 7 or 8 yards. Doolin was like, "No, you ain't going nowhere," and that gave us, that helped us in the field position, which ended up not being as important as you thought it might be at the beginning of the game. But still, always take that field position. So yeah, I was very happy to see that. And like you said, Carson did what we saw all year last year. Okay, we don't have a number one wide receiver, but we got all kinds of guys to spread it out, too. So yeah, I love this type of victory. I mean, I'm not expecting a whole lot prettier than what we saw today, other than maybe healthier guys and more points or something. But I mean, outside of that, I just feel like that's what this team does,
I mean, Carson was out there. You could still tell, even when he took off on that run for that first down, you looked at him and you were like, had he been healthy, had this been week 1 Carson, he would have picked up a lot more yardage. Yeah. And then later on, you're watching him shake off guys and rolling out of sacks and things of that nature. And you're like, really? He shook off a guy and then threw a deep pass for a first down, right? Yeah. I mean, good Lord. That's the Carson Wentz that we were hoping for. Don't want to have to see him have to shake guys off all the time. But at this point in time, when you got, 3 out of your 4 or 3 out of your 5 offensive linemen are backups, what do you expect?
Shaking. Yeah. Start shaking, not because of nerves, just know that you're going to need it. Yeah, he gave his best Jacoby Brissett impersonation before he let that baby rip.
Yes, he did. And Jacoby had a couple plays where he did that too. Jacoby had that couple plays where he shook off some people. There was other times. Did you see how mad Jacoby was on that sack strip, man? Oh my goodness. He threw his helmet. He was shouting and madder than heck, man. And I understand why. I mean, he had to shake off like 4 guys before he finally got stripped by, with Grover Stewart coming down on him. And then Darius Leonard and Jacoby was just jawing back and forth right before the half, right? That was great to watch. They were just talking back and forth.
I would love to hear the phone calls between Jacoby and some of these guys after the game, after everything's down, because you know that those are going to be some interesting phone calls in the upcoming weeks.
Oh, no kidding. I'm sure there might be some calls back saying, "Yo, bro, I still love you. That was just in the game. You still my man, right?"
And let's don't get it twisted. He gives just as good as he gets.
Oh yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Man. Brandon Smith, what's up, man? He was so sad. Oh yeah, he was. But like I said, us going into that prevent defense in the fourth quarter, Jacoby showed us he still has a cannon for an arm and can make good deep throws, really good deep throws. He just don't do it. And it's kind of
that kind of touchdown throw that he threw in the back of the end zone. That window, I mean,
right?
That window was so insane. I watched him throw it, and I was like, oh, awesome. And then I seen him put their arms up for a touchdown. I was like, looking back at that, how did that get through all that? Wow, yeah. Which maybe it's, there again, that may be the TV cameras, maybe it wasn't, but it sure looked like it was a lot of traffic there.
Omar Colley, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Do you guys think Braden Smith will be ready next week? Maybe. I know that he did a little bit of practicing this past week, but he was still ruled out. So I would not put my money on him being ready, just because he wasn't out well before. It wasn't like a questionable. They posted him out earlier in the week, so I would expect him to do limited practices this week, and probably the Texans game, I think, is probably when he'll play if he has no setbacks. But if he plays against the Ravens, great. But just don't get your hopes up.
I'm telling you right now, I know what the strength and conditioning coaches need to do. They need to sit there and have do a transfusion with Carson there for all the injured players and stuff, because he's got some serious heel all blood going on in him. Just share a little bit with everybody and get them.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, DeGia, what's up? Appreciate you being in here. Thanks. Says congratulations on your first win of the season. Absolutely. Brandon says, do you think it was weird playing Mac with him being on the trade block? No, I've been saying this since he was put on the trade block. I said you need to play Mac. He hasn't had any snaps. I'm not worried about him getting injured. I'm worried about getting a little bit of film out there for him for his own sake, because the only thing it'll do is help Mac and the Colts get higher trade responses from it, right? As of it sitting right now, before now there wasn't any film, and all you knew was Mac is coming off an Achilles. You don't know how good he's going to be able to play, and you'd be lucky to get a 7th round pick out of him. Because they played him, they showed what he's able to do. The stat line on him tonight does not, really count, because there was like 2 or 3 times he was hit 3-4 yards in the backfield because of blown blocking by the offensive line. But he did a very, very good job. It'll show on the film, and I think that can only help in increasing the trade value that the Colts have in Marlon Mack. And maybe Mack could go to a team now that will actually utilize him as a number 1 or a number 2 back in a group back there.
Yeah, and like I said, I was nervous that they would sit him for a while, and then whenever I seen him out there, I was super happy, because, like you said, I feel like he contributed at very important times for us.
Absolutely. Shout out to some of these guys that are in the chat right now. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don White, greetings, Colts Nation. What's up? Appreciate you being in here. Nomadic Brian, Colts win. I was wrong. Yay! Gotcha. Micaiah Brown, Kelly just blew out his shoe. He's not injured. Sweet.
Sweet.
Even
if that's not the truth. Awesome.
No, it's about that time for press conferences afterwards.
I know.
And Micaiah's probably, that's awesome. I am very happy with that. Jaquin Fernandez, Yaquin, or whatever. I can't pronounce your name because I don't. Sorry. The Colts surprised me. They did not think they would win today. Finally, they are on the winning track. I absolutely agree. I thought that they would win today. I just didn't think that they were going to really show a dominant score. 17 points for Miami. In all honesty, it wasn't as close as that at all. The Colts could have put another touchdown at the end of the game if they wanted to, because they walked down the field and they had first and goal at like the 6, and then ran out the clock with the last, three downs. And the 14 points that they gave up was in garbage time in the fourth quarter. They were in prevent at that point. So this was the stats won't show it because, Brissett had a bunch of passing yards in the fourth quarter with all that as well. But literally, through the first 3 quarters, Jonathan Taylor had more yards than the entire Miami offense. That's the kind of domination that you saw by the Colts and their defense. Like I said, though, I don't know how much you give to the defense and how much you give to the, just Miami not playing well. Might be a little bit of both, I think. But I give the 27 points right here, which I think you might as well count it as 34, because I think they could have scored another touchdown at the end. Most points they've scored this season, and it was against a really good pass defense, and that's where the majority of their points came from, was through the air, and they did a really good job. So gives me a little bit of hope for the future.
I'm hoping to give some of these players hope and give them some momentum and something to start stacking some of these games.
Yeah. Yep. Joel Erickson reported it was just a blown shoe. Okay.
Sweet.
Cool. Cyborg's in here. We need Mac to show up like this every week. Great touchdown catch over a defender. Yeah. Mo Alley Cox had a heck of a game. He did have that one where I feel like, I said he needed to be more physical at that point of contact with the ball in the air at the high point, and that's why he dropped it. But then the second time that happened, he did exactly as I said, be more physical, outmuscle the defender, and he did it over Eric Rowe, who is no pushover when it comes to safeties, so good job right there. How about them Jets, right? Right. Oh my goodness. How many fans of the green and white are there in Colts Nation right now? I mean, I don't know.
Finally, this Indy to New York connection is starting to pay off for us.
Little bit. Guys, please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you're notified when we go live or upload a video. Seriously, smash that like button, man, because we don't get a lot of likes on this stream. I don't understand why, but it helps big time with the analytics on YouTube. The more likes there are, the more people this video will pop up and show to others, okay? So help us out by hitting that like button. I'd really, really appreciate it. I'm really impressed with how professional you sound. You seem really happy about the first win. I am. Well, first off, other than like 4 or 5 people that watched the Patreon stream that I did during the game, my game reaction, I didn't sound professional a few times. All right, because I was doing the reaction, and I was like, and I was screaming and jumping and all kinds. My live game reactions are a little bit different.
The $5 Patreon is worth it just to watch Lawrence trying to.
Right. Omar Kali says, what about Kamoko Toure getting his 2 sacks today? Right. Yeah. It's not, and he didn't even start the game and ended up with 2 sacks today. That's impressive. I'm glad to see the man get out there and get some work done and show a little bit. Hopefully it'll continue. There was a few times, though, in this game that he was stonewalled, but other times he looked great. He looked absolutely great. Brandon said, I hit it twice. That means you canceled it, dude. That means you canceled it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to end this stream because if it goes too long, then that means less people are going to watch. Keep an eye out for tomorrow because I have a feeling that DeQuell Jackson is going to want to do a reaction tomorrow. So keep an eye out for the Believe in Colts post-game reaction for our stream tomorrow with me and DeQuell Jackson. He picked Miami to win. All right. So this will be a big, big thumper for him. What's up, Wyatt? Appreciate you being in here. Mike started letting Carson do actual quarterback stuff. I disagreed with one play call the entire game. One play call. And that's when he went for it on 4th down, like inside Miami's own 40-yard line. I did not like that, the quarterback sneak. I'm glad they got it, but I disagreed with that call, okay? Everything else I was cool with, but I did not like him go. I was like, why? You got the lead, right? Why take the chance of giving him short yardage to score real quick? But either way.
And didn't see any rollouts in the red zone either. You know, he kept his eyes on the defense all day today. So, yeah.
Brandon says, what are our chances versus the Ravens? I don't know yet. I got to look at the all-22 on both teams. Also got to need to know who's going to be playing. Our injury report is so destructive right now. I need to know who's going to be able to be on the field. Not just for the Colts, but for the Ravens as well. We'll figure it out later on this week. So, appreciate you. Any final thoughts, Loyalist?
I just want to say thank you, Colts, man. I'm telling you right now, I know we both felt good going into this game, but I also feel like, at least I know I went into this holding my breath because, man, 0-4, the thought of that was just I might have been, like, getting a little bit closer to those tank fans and stuff at 0-4. So, thank you, Colts. Kept everything that we still want is in front of us, in our control. So let's go. Let's start stacking some dubs.
All right. Appreciate everybody, like I said, being in here. Had a nice little group of people. Appreciate you, Alex and Alonzo Baylor. Appreciate you being in here as well. Until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.